Hi, Mark here. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do something fun for Valentine's Day because it's kind of a weird time of year. We have all the big holidays passed. We still have quite a bit of winter to go. The past couple years, I have done Valentine's Day cookies. Now, I am not a professional cookie decorator. There are people who are better at this than me, but I enjoy doing it, and you can't get better at something if you don't keep trying. So I wanted to pass along some of the tips and tricks that I've learned in doing this and kind of learning it myself to encourage you to do it and you to try it if you've ever wanted to make these really decorative cookies and been maybe a little intimidated to do it. So I'm going to show some simple ways to decorate them, but how you can layer really simple techniques to make them look really elaborate and really cool. Yeah, so let's get into it. I did use a recipe from Max Miller's channel, Tasting History with Max Miller, and I will link that in the description below. It's for a Revolutionary War era gingerbread. Pick whatever recipe you like for your favorite cookie. It should be a cookie that's a little bit harder and not super soft, something that keeps its shape. So sugar cookies are good, gingerbread, all your usual suspects. So my first few tips for you are pick one shape, pick a very simple color scheme, 3-4 colors tops, and plan what you want to do. Have a really good idea of what you want them to look like. I went on Pinterest, looked at Valentine's cookies. I looked at a lot of Joanna Parker stuff because she has really cool patterns and things that can be easily adapted to cookies. So find an inspiration point and then branch off of that. I'll put a link in the description below for the icing recipe that I used, and I found this to be perfect for outlining and the flooding technique that I'm going to show you. I used a simple lining or writing tip for a lot of these decorations, so if you're going to get one icing tip, I would recommend that one. You could also just use a plastic bag and cut out the corner and get decent results doing that. I use pastry bags, and when you fill them, it's important to then twist it from the top, hold it from the top, and squeeze from the top, just like toothpaste. You don't want to squeeze in the middle of it because then it'll start squirting out the back of it. It'll be a mess. This first technique I'm going to show you, you just do a simple, I did a squiggle, like a little scallop design around the cookie, and you want to do 2 or 3 rows that are touching of that. And then you're going to take a paintbrush. These are food safe brushes made by Wilton. And then at each one of those scallops, you just take the brush and sort of flick it towards the center. So you're brushing the excess icing towards the center of the cookie. Then we're going to layer another decoration on top of this, but you're going to want to let that dry really, really well. It gives a really pretty, sort of almost doily or lacy effect. And it's really simple, but it looks great. Another technique you'll see me use a lot here is flooding. So what you want to do is you draw an outline of the shape that you want to flood, if it's the whole cookie or part of the cookie, whatever. And that acts like a dam. And you'll want that to be the same color as the icing that you're going to be flooding with. It just gives a better result. Then after you do that outline, you can let that set up for a minute or two, and then you go in and you just flood the cookie with the icing, and you're just filling in that whole area. Then you shake it. It sounds weird, but it really works. It really helps to get that icing to level off, and you get a really nice smooth surface. Like, you have to let that dry really, really well because you don't want to go in and layer another decoration on top of it and have it crack, and just let it dry for a long time. So that's where the planning comes in really, really handy, where if you plan what cookies you want to have that full flooded effect in, you can do those first. The other cool thing about flooding is you can do different patterns with it. So I tried striping some of the cookies, and then I'll go back and I'll fill the center stripe with white icing, then I'll go back and do the other 2 with black. I also did a checkerboard. So you'll let that first color again dry really, really well, and before you go and put the second color in. What I recommend also is baking a few extra cookies than you think you're going to use so that you can practice some things on them. Because if they don't come out right, then you're not like, oh my gosh, I only made 2 dozen and now I'm down to a dozen and a half. Make some extras that you can just sort of play on and get used to the writing tips and the icing consistencies and see what you might want to do. That's really helpful. Now here's where I'll start to layer decorations. So that little scallopy border, now I'm going to go in and flood the middle of that with a red heart. So mixing those two techniques. Here's where you need to let that white icing dry really well before you put the red on. Because if you don't, you're much more prone for that red icing to bleed out into the white. Red icing just takes a lot more food coloring, so it's a lot more prone to bleed into other colors. If you let it dry really, really well, that it helps to prevent that. My cookies, they were done for a few days, and then I started to get some bleeding even after they had dried like really well, and I had done it again. So I recommend, don't do these like a week out. Maybe a couple days before you're going to be using them. And the red is the one I had the most problems with. The black frosting, I actually had a lot less bleeding with it. So I researched it. It's just one of those things that happens. So I did find that they said like the gel food coloring is much better to use than the liquid. And then I believe there are powder food colorings as well that won't thin out the frosting and won't, it's the additional liquid that then makes it want to seep. So you could look into those things as well. I haven't tried those yet, but I think the next time I do this, I'm going to. If you want to avoid bleeding altogether on your cookies, then just stick to a more pastel color palette. I've never had any problems when I've done pale colors and more pastel colors. I've never had the icing colors bleed. You can also just flood a part of a cookie. I just did a heart in the center of this one instead of the whole thing. And then I found that the brushes were really handy to just kind of clean up the edges of the design if it's not quite as sharp as you want it to. I found that to be a really, really helpful tool. So this was my first time using brushes that were specifically made for the cookies, and really recommend those. They're not very expensive. I think they were about $10 for the set. Okay, so black frosting, super dramatic, but also a little intimidating to make, but not really. The biggest tip is don't put your black food coloring into white frosting. Dye the frosting first. I put in some blue and green to make it sort of a dark teal color, and then I had to use a lot less of the black food coloring. It took really quickly, and I got a really, really dark saturated black color in the food coloring, or in the frosting. So yeah, it's a tip that works really well. One of my favorite things to do is just do simple little dots. They can be super effective and make really cute cookies. So on the checkerboard, I did them at each of the corners. It's endless where you can use those in between. If you do a stripe or whatever, you can do them in between. I do that on another cookie. And the consistency that you use for the flooding is pretty good for these, and they will self-round, so you won't get a little peak at the top of them. They won't look like little Hershey Kisses, in other words. However, if your frosting is a little bit stiffer and you're getting those little Hershey Kiss, points, you can take a brush, one of your brushes, or a little butter knife, and you can just kind of get those points. You can sort of push them back down and round them off if you get those and you don't like them. You can also take the dot and use two of them, pull the ends down, and make a little heart out of those. So another simple technique, and I haven't used any other decorator tip other than the writing tip that I have on that so far. So you can see you can get a lot of versatility just from one thing. You don't have to buy $100 set of icing tips to get some really great results. So here, again, same lining tip, and I just did swirls on top of the red flooded cookie that I did. And it's so easy. This is such a super simple, just do swirls. They don't have to be perfect. And you just keep adding them until it's as swirly as you want it to be. I really like how these came out. They almost look like sort of ironwork or something like that. I don't know. I really liked the black against the red. Kept filling them in, and some of them are just little half circles. I don't actually do a full swirl to sort of fill in the around the edges. So yeah, I wanted them to be really packed, but you could do a very open work sort of thing on it if you wanted. But again, still we have not changed icing tips. So here I finally changed the decorator tip that I'm using, and I went to an open star tip. These are really versatile. This is what you use to do little shell borders or just like a little star. So right here, I'm just starting it on the surface of the cookie, squeezing and pulling up, and I'm getting these little star shapes, these perfect little stars. And I'm just going around the whole border of the cookie with this. It's really great if the edges on something you did aren't super clean. It makes it look really clean and just really gives it a polished look. And again, you can see I just sort of, you're layering. If you think about different layers, where I started with the checkerboard of this, and then I did the black dots, and then I'm going back and doing the border. So you don't have to decorate. You shouldn't be decorating one cookie start to finish with all the colors. Go in, go through and do it more like an assembly line. You're doing like the white flooding, the red flooding, any of the black flooding, that kind of thing. I find that's the easier way to do it. But this, yeah, see, it's just like a stamp. You're having the pastry bag straight up and down, starting on the surface of the cookie and pulling up, and you get a nice little star border. The most complicated one is the little shell border. And that's, again, the same tip that I used to do the little stars, but you're starting it and you're sort of doing a little flick at the end. You're going up and down and up and down, and you're kind of making almost like a cursive C, lowercase cursive C, for those of you who know what cursive is, because I know that's not a thing anymore. But if you think of that sort of motion, or like a little wave, like if you're a little kid and you're drawing like a little wave, it's just that. It's just this simple little motion. Again, it just takes a little bit of practice, but it looks really great when you do it. And here I'm salvaging the cookies that bled very early on before I even had anything finished decorating, with just using the star tip. Now here is, it's kind of my tuxedo cookie, I guess you'd call it, where I did the black and white flooding. And then I'm going in with my little dot heart technique to do hearts down the middle and on each side. And I flipped it around and did the hearts going in different directions. That was kind of the Alice in Wonderland inspiration, or like a deck of playing cards. And then I went back and did little dots in between where the black and the white portions met. So when I'm piping these stars and shell borders, I did thicken up the frosting for those decorations. I just added more confectioner's sugar to it to make it stiffer, because when you pipe those decorations, you want them to stay in the shape that you pipe them in. You don't want them to sort of round out and spread. And there you have it. I used 2 different icing tips and 4 different icing colors. People who are better at this, but I'll never get better if I don't try it. And I wanted to pass on some of the things that I've learned in doing this, and some of the frustrations that I've had I can help you avoid by telling you this a few things. And also, don't be overwhelmed. If you want a more detailed video about the supplies that I used, you can comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see that. I will be back with some other crafts for Valentine's Day, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and click the notification bell so you can be notified when those videos come out. And yeah, like this video. It really helps out the channel. And that's it. Happy creating. Go make something pretty. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.